Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of At Home with the Willises. Today's topic is 5 financial mistakes couples make early on in their relationship. We're also going to talk about Angela Bassett getting her first Oscar, Jerod Mayo becoming the first Black head coach of the Patriots, Honey Pot getting sold for $380 million, and so much more. But first, you're at home with the Willises. Okay, everybody, before we get started, I want to remind you to make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit that button right down there in the corner right there, and also hit that bell so that you are notified every time we upload new content. Well, let's get started. We got a full docket here.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning. Look at us kind of matching. We didn't even plan this.
I actually did. I kind of saw it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I got an orange shirt, too. You ain't going to outdo me.
Oh, I thought, okay. I didn't, well, you spied on me, which is fine. That's fine.
We should do a segment called, like, the Wardrobe Wars.
Why would we do that?
I don't know. I seen it on
Lord.
TV.
Nope, we're not going to do that. But anyway, I don't even know what we would do. But we hardly ever match. So this is very close. I'm proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's get into it. You want to start with the 5 mistakes, financial mistakes?
First, I want to thank all of our new subscribers and viewers. The numbers are up, and we appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Subscribing to the channel, checking out the podcast, checking out all of our content.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, for watching us, for at least this podcast being in our house, which is awesome. We love it, and we love seeing you all comment. So make sure you comment below. We read every single one of them. At least now we do.
Right.
For now, because hey, who knows? We might get bigger, but we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can do us a favor and share this particular podcast, go ahead and share it. Let us know in the comments below that you've shared it. Maybe, just maybe, we can get to 1,000 subscribers.
I know, just maybe we out here. See what I'm saying? just how fast are we going?
Okay.
Is it going to happen?
Oh, you're really positive this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we out here.
Mm-hmm.
Share it with at least 3 people, and we know we can definitely reach 1,000 very soon.
Yes.
How about that?
Let's get to the topic.
Okay. Are we doing current events, or you want to talk about the financial mistakes? We got a lot to talk about.
Let's do the topic first.
All right. 5 financial mistakes that couples make early on in their relationship. Mm-hmm. And we made a few.
Don't let Nikki go to the grocery store. That's the first thing I learned early on.
That's
in
not
marriage.
That's not part of the topic.
Go to the grocery store. She got 2 meals and spent $300. I said we can't.
When a meal requires
I
saffron, okay?
Do this.
If a meal requires saffron, I got to get the saffron. Do you know how expensive an ounce of saffron is?
First of all, we shouldn't be cooking nothing that requires saffron in 2007, 8, in the largest real estate collapse in U.S. history.
Well, we have been married for 15 and a half years. So back in 2018, I was really trying to be domestic, right? And cook these really lavish meals. Did we have a lot of money? No, we didn't. And so I probably shouldn't have been purchasing saffron at, $23 an ounce. But was the meal good is the question. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I was going to bed.
Then we eat ramen noodles for the rest of the
calculator. I had the notebook and the calculator on the phone.
Yeah, I just throw stuff in the cart. That's just I that's also how I season. I just throw it in there until the spirit tells me to stop. It's kind of how I go shopping. I just throw it in there until the spirit tells me to stop. Mm-hmm. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell we are very, very different. And so
some things never change.
Mistake number 1, okay, is ignoring the money talks. should we have had this conversation about shopping and spending money before we even like discussed marriage? Probably so, but that wasn't one of the things that we talked about.
No, you're young and in love.
Yeah.
See, the problem is when you date. This is the problem I have with dating, and this is totally about money, but it's totally not.
Okay.
The problem you have with dating is you're trying to put your best foot forward. You're trying to show yourself in the best light. Yeah. So you don't want to let people know your kryptonite.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You know what? Well, because, talking about finances can really ruin a conversation, period. And I definitely don't recommend, talking about finances on the first date, okay? So let's be clear. I think it's kind of creepy.
It's a little tough being married to a realtor or entrepreneur. Cause, I didn't ask you what your credit score was. Well, actually, your credit score was better than mine. So, at the time,
It wasn't bad. But, when you start getting serious about a relationship and you start saying, I think I like this person. I think I want to, spend more time with this person. Or I could see myself with this person long term. Mm-hmm. Now's the time to start talking about money. You don't want to wait until you're in this long-term relationship. You're in this committed relationship. You've kind of intertwined your relationship and your lives, and then money issues start popping up, because then that's when it gets tricky. And when I'm telling you, it was like clockwork. We would always get into full-blown arguments at the grocery store. I'm talking, we go in, we're holding hands, we're laughing, all the things. By the end of that grocery trip, we both fussing at each other, silent treatment, the whole 9 yards. It was bad. It was really bad. And it happened for a minute.
We talked about our grocery rules on the previous podcast. Or before
I think we did. We usually are not allowed to go grocery shopping with each other. And then if we must, we have to agree that one person is in charge, and then the other person can't say anything.
Yeah, you either just drive the car or, you go get something. So it's like you the leader. So it's like if we go to the grocery store together, either you're going to the grocery store and I'm going with you. Right. Or I'm going to the grocery store and you're just going with me.
That's right. One person in the driver's seat, grocery shopping at a time. And it has worked. We're still married.
I can't remember the last time I went to the grocery store with you.
And that's the thing. We just don't go with each other.
That's not even for this reason. We just so busy.
That's true. Now we're just too busy to go together.
Yeah.
But we had to set some ground rules. It was terrible. But then also, we should have had more conversations truly about our finances. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that we had to adjust quickly was the fact that we had young children. Mm-hmm. So you had Josh, I had Nia, who you guys met a few weeks ago on our podcast, and they were 4 and 5 when we got married, and so a lot of it was parenting and raising the kids and how we're going to mesh this family together and become a blended family, and so we skipped a lot of the finance talks, and I think that was a lesson learned there, because we should have slowed it down and talked about, how are we going to raise these children, and how are we going to manage our finances? How do you manage your finances? How do you view money? Like, we didn't really talk about that until after we were married.
Yeah, I think that's why you can't ignore the money talk, because every couple, every family, every family dynamic is different, because we both had our own separate kids, but it's like, what if you have 4 kids and 4 different baby daddies? Like, that's a totally different situation than coming in with no kids, or it's vice versa. If I got 4 kids by 4 different baby mamas, that's 4 different child support things, and people need to know that. No, that's real life situations. People, you'd be like, oh, that's cool, I got 4 kids. They don't know, like, you get 17.8% of your paycheck because it's all coming out by child support. What?
Yeah.
I would want to know that.
I want to know that too.
That's what I'm saying. That's ignoring the money talk.
You be going like so far left. I agree with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you. So let's just stay super personal.
Okay.
You don't know when you first dated somebody. You're like, oh, that's cute. He got a son. Blah blah blah. He take care of his son.
Yeah.
You don't know if I'm paying the baby mama $2,000 a month on the side, or I'm thinking, oh, she has a child already or whatever. I'm pretty sure she's getting some type of child support. I didn't know, like, oh, well, we're not getting $2,000 a month or $200 a month.
But when do you talk about it though? When do you begin the conversations? What I'm saying is that not on the first date. Get to know each other first. Same with the kids. That's a different conversation. But getting to know. I'm not introducing my child to you on the first date. That's kind of weird. But
I think that if you have kids, you have to have the money talk earlier because it's less. If it was, we talk about this all the time. If it was just us, people think we nuts by the risks and sacrifices that we make now. If we didn't have kids, we'd have taken a whole lot more risks.
Y'all have no idea.
But you can't take certain risks when you have financial obligations with children and you come together not as already as a family, not just marriage. So when it starts to get serious, you need to have the money talk.
Serious and before commitment, like long-term commitment. Okay, that's fair. Okay, number 2. Overlooking individual money habits. Now, we already just kind of touched on this with the whole grocery shopping thing, but you really need to look at money habits. Is the person that you're with a saver? Are you a saver? Are you or your significant other a spender? What are your beliefs around money? Those conversations need to be had. I wonder though when people talk about money, I always say people can get funny around money. What would you suggest it being having a positive environment or maybe making it fun? Could you make it a date night that we're gonna sit down and we're just gonna talk about money? Like, could it be something fun? Could it be something positive? Because I feel like
no.
Why couldn't it be something fun?
Unless you're that type of person, no. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's not just dating; it's just society as a whole. Unless you're a person that
I'm gonna think this.
I'm gonna say I'll say me, but I don't do it like I used to do. Like, if you don't get up in the morning and watch CNN or go on MSN Money, most people, not even relationships and casual conversations, don't like to talk about money because you don't know if you're the person that you're having a conversation with or the person that you're dating. You don't know if you're real far away or real close to each other. So I think people feel like, oh, this person got their stuff together and they stuff might be jacked up, but you don't know. So it's the fear of putting yourself out there. So a lot of people don't talk about money, even amongst friends sometimes. But I think that this is something that you shouldn't do. Like, I know it's like a weird cliche, but like the best example I can give you is like Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian. Like, they got married real super duper early, overnight or whatever. Yeah. So when you overlook individual money habits, I think you can't find out or determine people's money habits until it takes time.
It takes time
to get a habit. Is something that you see over and over, and you don't see something over and over unless.
I mean, you at least need 2 or 3 pay stubs just to get into an apartment. So
Yeah. So I think habits
I haven't seen that.
have to come with time, but you have to give yourself time to see somebody's habits before you make a commitment or not, because it takes time to find out a person's habits. But you can't just be like, you can't overlook it, but a habit is something that you have to see over time. So you have to give the relationship time and time to see that, I think. Yeah. I get a Jen face. Jen, what you got over here? You got input? I see a Jen face.
Well, no, I text y'all about it, but I think it'd be really cool to come up with a game.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Listen, I'm like, how do you do
Jen is saying it would be cool to come up with like
Okay.
a game that is fun and engaging for people to play that would help open up the conversation for finances.
It's gonna be in the Amazon store by Valentine's Day. Watch it.
Okay.
Okay,
We gotta find it. Yeah, I know it's out there.
Yeah.
I know it's out there.
Now, I plan on coming up
Yes.
with a game, but it's more along the lines
Okay.
of Monopoly 2024 Lavender Holmes, Jameen Willis edition. Yeah.
Is that the title?
No, that's not the title. I'm not going to give away the title because somebody might try to steal it.
Yeah, right,
Now,
man.
I got
Okay.
patents and stuff to get. Patents.
Okay.
Anyways, that's a good idea.
I
That you
think
can do
so.
that. You have to combine money with something else, or it's hard to get people to buy in sometimes, especially
That's what I'm
when
saying,
you're
yeah.
like dating. Everybody is like, it's easy to, when you got a problem, you got to go, so it's like before, combine something. But I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 3, lack of an emergency fund.
Can I go first on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just. I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Now, this is one thing recently, over the past few years, I got to be honest, I haven't been rocking with Dave Ramsey theories as much.
Yes, okay.
But this is one thing that old Dave helped us out
Dave.
a lot.
Yeah.
So when we got married, we struggled financially. The real estate market was terrible. We basically lost everything. And the place that we got married at offered Financial Peace University, the
Yes.
Dave Ramsey class. And so we took the Financial Peace University, and I remember, we got a lot of stories, but one of our stories is, and this is the last point I think, and I'll talk about that again, but one time we were so broke, we had this Volvo, and it was a Volvo station wagon,
blue,
and I called it,
94 Volvo.
I called it the
station wagon.
Valvoline.
Valvoline.
So we had this 94 Volvo, but it was top of the line.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the turbo. It had a little turbo
It had a
button.
turbo button.
And if you hit that turbo
And
button,
a sunroof.
you can
Leather
get up.
seats.
Leather seats, heated seats. It was just torn a little bit.
We were gifted that vehicle.
Yeah, somebody gave us that car because we had one car at the time, and at the time that was a blessing.
It
But
was.
we were so broke one time. It was something wrong with the windshield wiper to where it would flip like sideways
Yes.
when it was
just
raining. And we lived in the Midwest where it rained and snowed and rained and snowed. And now that I think about it, I was like, that was so dumb. Why didn't we just get the windshield wiper fixed? But when you broke, you just hope that things don't break down and stuff don't go wrong. And when you don't have an emergency fund, a lot of times you have, whether you make a whole lot of money, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I would say, at least in America, no matter what, sometimes a lot of marriages and couples, they make money and they spend money. So people that make a lot of money are just as broke as somebody that doesn't make a lot of money because you live paycheck to paycheck. So if you make $250,000 a year, you spend $250,000 a year, or you make $28,000 a year, you spend $28,000 a year. So whether you broke is broke if you spend it all.
Right.
But anyways, we had for real lack of emergency fund because I was like, man, I can't be going up here to get this windshield wiper fixed.
We couldn't get it
and so
fixed.
when it rained, we would have to lean to the left or lean to the right.
One worked.
Yeah,
and
one
then
worked and the other one would flip.
The other one would flip, and so then when it would flip, they would collide.
That would collide. So you had to lean while you in
That
the
was
Valvoline.
bad.
That
And it was like
lack of
the
emergency.
rainiest season. It was the rainiest season. It was so
Yeah.
bad. And that took a minute for us to get that fixed. It was also snowing at that time, so you would have to pour hot water on the windshield. Listen,
Ohio.
that poor Volvo. And then we started leaking antifreeze.
Yeah.
None of these things we could get fixed. None of them.
Well, the antifreeze thing, the guy that gave us the car told us like, "Hey, this is a problem."
Yeah.
Like,
So, he said, it's got a small leak.
Yeah.
Smell like
It got increasingly larger over time.
We had to drive with a water bottle. So remember a bottle of water, so it wouldn't overheat.
Because it was cheaper than antifreeze, so you just let it burn up and then you put more water in there. Anyways, but so we've been on the bad side of this, and we've been on the good side of this. But when we took this Financial Peace University, I'll never forget that we saved up an emergency fund, and our refrigerator went out.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, thank God we had started saving money and we had that emergency fund to get the refrigerator because it was like a holiday coming up or it was just like, what would we do with a family of 4 or 5 without a refrigerator? So even like when we teach the home ownership classes, I tell people to save 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses because if something don't go wrong with the house, like I say this over and over again, if something don't go wrong with the house, something is going to go wrong with you. If something don't go wrong with you, something is going to go wrong with your car. And a lot of times we budget or don't budget or plan to be just enough to get by. You don't plan for the emergencies, the car breaking down, the refrigerator going out, somebody broke their arm and you got to pay this hospital bill. So
it's important.
We definitely had a lack of an emergency fund. And thank God, sometimes when you're in a financial position, if you have an emergency, you don't balance yourself to nothing to where if an emergency happens, you're still okay.
Right.
But I think everybody need to have that rainy day emergency fund,
3
even
to
if
6
it's
months.
money under your mattress or in the bank or something. But
have it saved. Have it saved. Make sure. As we're teaching our children, pay yourself first. Pay yourself first, and we'll talk about that in another episode about what we're teaching our children as far as investments and money. But pay yourself first, and that means putting some savings away when you get paid. Just whatever percentage it is, no matter how much you get paid, there's a specific percentage that goes to savings and an emergency fund. Just do that, and then that way you don't have to think about it. So the fourth one is ignoring the importance of financial planning. We ignored that for a while, didn't we?
Till people start dying.
Yeah. And I mean, that's so morbid. But it does put things into perspective when you have to, figure out funeral plans and all of that stuff, insurance, who didn't have life insurance. It gets really convoluted. And my prayer is, when we pass, because we all got to go at some point, my hope is that we don't have to put our children through a lot of what we've gone through and what we've seen people in our generation go through because of lack of financial planning. Yeah.
So my goal in life is nobody to have to sell a
T-shirt,
chicken, a fish fry, or
dinner.
TV dinner, or GoFundMe, or things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it all the time, but I really working on my kids, or God forbid I go before you, like my family just being like, my kids being like trust fund kids, and they don't have to like we watching this new movie called, not movie, a TV show called The Bear.
It's really good.
Good show. Jen, you should check out The Bear. It's a good show. Dude. So one of the brothers dies. The brother dies, and his...
Don't spoil it too much.
No, I'm not. The younger brother the older brother gave the younger brother the family restaurant, and he had to take it over.
Right.
And it was like in shambles. Like the employees was a trip. The bookkeeping was messed up.
Right.
The place needed to be renovated and stuff like that. But a lot of times, especially like minorities, we give nothing, or we give something that somebody has to run. They have to be forced into do it. So my goal is to pass on businesses, properties, and things that my kids or my family doesn't have to wake up in the morning and go do something for that to still like exist and live.
Yeah. I think also people, there's like this notion that you have to be at a certain level to begin financial planning. And I think that's far from the truth. I think you should start as early as possible. Same with, when you buy a house, people tend to feel like, oh, I have to be at this certain, place in my life in order to be ready to purchase a home. And at the end of the day is you really don't know until you talk to a financial planner and lay it all out on the table. You don't have to be perfect. If you desire to have your life financially planned, if you desire to leave something, to leave a legacy, to leave something for your children, your children's children, go ahead and get started. Talk to a financial planner and say, hey, this is where I'm at. Then they can tell you, okay, here's what you need to get to where you want to be. And, a lot of times we got to take the ego out of it because we can say, oh, well, I don't want to be embarrassed, or, well, I don't have enough, money, or I don't know what my, credit score is, or whatever. That's okay. Go ahead and talk to a financial planner. Get a professional's advice, get a professional opinion, and then see where you can go from there. You will be so surprised at how quickly you can get things turned around, how quickly you can get things started. But you'll probably be even more surprised when you look back and say, man, Nikki and Jameen told me this 2 years ago when I watched that episode. Yeah. And it's been 2 years and I still haven't gotten it done. Just go ahead and get started. That's what my advice is. We waited a really long time because we felt like, oh, well, we're not in the right place. Yeah.
But also you think you're young and you have time too.
Yeah. We are no longer that. But I think it's still important to get started and get started early.
Yeah, and that's why even with real estate, I tell people if you aren't in a position to buy a house, get ready to get in position to buy a house. And just like you tell people, stop thinking or waiting to buy your dream house or the house of your dreams, right? Because it's much better for you to buy a starter house that's the same or just a little bit better than what you're currently renting. That starter house will then be a stepping stone for you to actually get your dream home or forever home. But from a financial standpoint, it's better for you to buy a fixer-upper or a starter house that you're not in love with than to wait, because you could take that house and that house is actually something that goes up in value. So that's financial planning right there. Another thing is, my mother passed in 2005. My mother had a GED. She didn't work that much. And as far as wealth and money and things like that, I didn't get those things from my mother. But one thing, I thank God that my mother had an insurance policy. And she had an insurance policy to cover the burial, the funeral, any bills that she had. And then me and my sister had like $3,000 that was money that was left over to split. And that $3,000 at the time paid off my car that I had. So I was able to be a realtor, and I had a Dodge Intrepid, the most souped up Dodge Intrepid that you could have. Back in the day, it had a sunroof, it had leather seats and stuff. But I was able to pay my car off with that money left over from the insurance. And that was a blessing for me. You know what I mean? I was in my 20s, in real estate and stuff like that. So I was able to pay my car off. So you don't have to be rich to have this, be like, oh, I don't need no financial plan. I ain't got nothing.
Right.
Or, I don't have to do this.
Take that out your head.
Yeah, take that out your head because, my mom wasn't rich by any stroke of the imagination, and she had enough money to pay for insurance and keep an insurance policy up. So the average person, if you work every day or even a little bit, you can at least start some level of financial planning.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so number five is not taking tithing and giving seriously. Now, for us, when we first got married, I grew up, obviously in the church. We both grew up in the church, but I was a church baby. So if you are a believer and you understand sowing and reaping and tithing, you'll definitely want to listen up here. And even if you're not, just listen in, take our word for it. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments below. We love talking to people about giving. But I was, came from a tithing family, not a huge saving family, and we like to spend a lot. But we did believe in tithing. And going back to the first mistake we made, which was not talking about finances, we really didn't get serious about tithing until a few years into our marriage. And it was one of the biggest reasons was it was that mindset of, we ain't even got nothing. How do we got to pay these bills. We got kids, we got daycare, car notes. Well, how can we give on top of that?
Tithe from what?
Right. Tithe from what? We in the negative, And so we had gone to the Dave Ramsey thing. And that was honestly when we were like, you know what? Let's sit down and talk about this. Like, let's make a decision. Are we going to get serious about tithing and about giving? Now, tithing is taking taking 10% of what you make, of what you earn, and giving it back to God. Because at the end of the day, what we believe is what we do, what we make, everything that we've been giving is not ours, and it's not just us and just us alone. We have been blessed. We have been given all of this by God. He has given us all of our opportunities. We just walk in it, and that is what we believe. And so after taking that class, which, by the way, we are not promoting Dave Ramsey or anybody's course, by the way. I just got to put that out there.
For the right price, we could.
Well, okay, hush. Lord, somebody help us. This podcast.
We are open.
We are open for
currently at home with the
sponsorships
Willises.
and all the things. But anyway, we're not promoting any financial course. But anyway, after taking our financial course, we decided to get serious and say, you know what? No matter what, we are going to give a 10th of what we earn back to God. And then after that, we can also choose what organizations, what causes and other things that we give to. And that really turned everything around for us. Like, it really, really did. Now, was it hard? Especially in the beginning? Yes. And it was hard just throughout our journey. It was hard.
It wasn't hard for me.
It wasn't?
No.
You over here lying to these people?
No, I'm going to tell you
people?
why it wasn't hard. It was hard for like 2 seconds because I always believed in the principle, but to be honest, it really wasn't a financial thing. It was like a heart thing. So I felt like at certain times, I felt like I had been let down by God. And I was like, I tithe if you bless me, you know what I mean? Or why am I going through all this stuff?
Right.
But it's like, it's also a mindset thing. So when you don't tithe and you feel like you should, it's like a guilty complex type thing. So not only am I struggling financially, I'm not tithing. So it was like weighing on the conscience type of thing. So that made it much, I won't say that it wasn't hard, but it was freeing to start back tithing.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like you said, we just made that decision like, okay, if tithing is gonna make me broke or not make it work, then whatever. We just gonna keep doing it. But man, I done tried God over and over again, and for me and for us, tithing works. Even when I was single, like I just did things like I read the Bible and it said, test me in this. And I remember I was like down to my last $20 and I gave $20. And it's not like you use God as a genie or anything it's nothing like that. But I was like, God, I'm just going to trust you. Like, I done gave my last $20 before. Yeah. And now God leads us to give to other people, whether it's in a restaurant or we see somebody in need. That's the biggest...
It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing for me to do too is to be in a position to be a blessing and to give to somebody. And the thing for me is I gotta have like one caveat, just like don't tell nobody or I don't want no credit for it. Like that's actually my biggest flex is to be able to help somebody and I don't want anybody to to know.
Yeah.
But tithing is a principle that it's been proven over and over again.
Definitely in our
Some
lives,
other people,
for
if
sure.
you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. But it's worked for us. And
I would say try it. I would.
oh yeah, absolutely. Even
I
if you
would
don't
challenge
believe
you
in
to
giving
try
it to a church, give it to an organization. Like we tithe because
Yeah, we
we
tithe to our local
belong
church.
to our
We do.
church.
That's what we believe.
And it, to be honest, you don't have to give to a church, but if you have a church that you are a member of, or you've identified that this, like our particular church, is an organization that you can clearly see that they help people.
Yes.
Hope for the city, hope for the kids, food, toys.
All kinds of outreach for families in need.
I don't want to say CR. So yeah, so when you see an organization that really helps people, and the reason why it's so easy to give is you know that the money that you're giving or you're donating is actually going towards helping people.
working.
So whether it's a church or United Way or something like that, you know that the money that you're giving is actually going towards helping people. And even if they don't, that's not our
not your
problem.
business. That's
We
that's
did
not your
our
problem.
responsibility, so we believe that God will bless us. We did our
Regardless.
part, you know what I mean? So tithing, we've tried it over and over and over again, and God has been faithful in our finances, and that's one of the biggest things that we principles that we stand on. Above all the financial mistakes that we made, even if you make mistakes, that's the one that you want to get right. Tithing and
100%.
giving, and taking that seriously. And it doesn't matter. It gets harder because when the zeros move, when you
When
give,
them
you're
commas
like,
get over there,
"Ooh,
you know.
that's a lot of."
Yeah, when them commas start moving
Some
too
other
right, you be
things
like,
that you when you start thinking like I could do
Okay.
this or I could do that with that money.
Right.
It does get a little bit harder, but if you think about where the money comes from,
That's right. It's
the
not
principles
yours
that you stand on,
He's blessed us
and
with
it
everything.
could go back to you, you know,
That part.
worried about getting a windshield wiper, you know. So
That part.
that's one of the things that you want to take seriously, tithing and giving early. And a lot of times you're like, oh, I'm not ready to start being a philanthropist, or I'll give back when I get to X amount of level. Like, you have to save, whether you make, no matter how much money you make, it's a percentage thing, and giving, it's in proportion to the amount of money you make. Nobody's saying give your whole paycheck or be out of whack.
Yeah.
But
Unless you feel led, I don't want to get in. I don't want to be watching nobody's pockets.
anyways, let's.
But you know what?
What?
Before we end on that, ladies, and here's another tip for you. And this is a first date question. Are you a giver? That's an easy one. That's an easy first date question.
That could go
Are you a
wrong
giver? Are
too.
you a
That could
tither?
sound a little gold diggerish too.
Are you a
'cause
giver? Are you a
nowadays, too,
tither?
these women got
What's your
lists.
favorite
You can't take
organization
them.
that you give
You
to?
can't take them to Cheesecake Factory. It just may sound. It may not
that's
sound
not
like.
gold
Are you a
diggerish?
tither? Like, are you a
What's your
giver? You
favorite
giving me these
organization to
Birkin
give
bags?
to?
That's what they may.
No.
They may think.
Ask it this way. What's your favorite organization to give to? If he says, no, I don't give to no organization. If they say, or if the lady says, I don't give to an organization, red flag, run, get out of there. Okay. That's a good question. As I get older, I'm giving advice.
As you a giver sounds. I don't know.
I just changed it. What is your favorite organization to give to?
What if you're 23? Is that question still
Yes.
applicable?
Absolutely.
You a
'Cause you should be
23-year-old
giving- you
is
should be
thinking of a
giving-
charitable organization?
Well, because then they would say, I give to my local church if they want to. There is always a place or a person to give to. Always.
I keep $3 in the
Jen,
glove compartment just
see?
in case I want a little homeless guy on the corner.
There you
Jen
go.
says, I keep $3.
The whole three. Yep.
$3. See? Okay. So that's my Miss Nikki advice.
Miss Nikki advice.
Can that be a little segment?
Yeah.
Segment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into these current events. As of January 2024, the most searched things on Google are
Google.
YouTube and Amazon. The next most popular searches are Facebook, weather, Google, and Gmail. I can attest to every single one of these. But I feel like that is what we put in the search bar in order to get to what we're trying to get to. It's not necessarily a search. I feel like, let me see the next 10. Because we put in YouTube when we want to go to YouTube. We don't say www.youtube.com. We don't say that.
You know, the funny thing with that is that Google works with Walmart. So if you're looking for an item, Google isn't going to go find it on Amazon first. Google is going to go find it on Walmart first. That's what they worked out with Walmart.
Interesting. How long ago did they work that out? Do you know?
It's been at least a year. I have a Walmart and an Amazon store.
So Amazon has to work extra hard to make sure their stuff is at the top.
You know, I just now recently got on the Amazon train. I was anti-Amazon for so many years.
Now who gets the packages at the door?
It's still me less than anybody else except for Jonathan.
Besides our daughter.
But I don't like
I think we're a distribution center at this point.
The Amazon, they got rid of so many. You know, I have a special place in my heart for small business owners.
We do.
And they got rid of so many places. Like, they just smashed. You know, you can't go to Circus City. They kind of wrecking
Ralph out here. I mean,
Circus City.
You don't think so?
Radio Shack.
Well, you can. You have to go through Amazon.
More than 80% of the Amazon
small businesses
are small businesses.
Well, here's the thing. Amazon made themselves indispensable.
They get a
where
cut.
You have to use it, and they get a cut. And if you are, it was kind of, get right or get left with Amazon. Hey, small business, if you want to do well out here, come join us, come through. So that's what we're talking about in regards to small business. You can't just be out here, especially if you want to be global. You can't just be out here by yourself without the help and the assistance of Amazon. You
know what, I'm surprised? And we gotta probably, I would say next year or the year after that, I would venture to say that Chat GPT will be the next thing, because it's like information and news.
It's already the next
thing. So like news, Facebook is like the new news thing. Weather, everybody want to know what the weather is. YouTube is how to, news, update. So these are like search engine, type places.
I would love to like interview or talk to someone that is in the industry of AI and all that stuff, and just learn firsthand how it's changing things, because I know it's going to change some things in real estate for sure. But I would love to have some. So if anybody knows somebody that is in this particular industry, comment below, mention them so we can reach out to them, so we can bring them on the show and just talk to them about all things AI, Chat GPT, all the things. I think it would be fabulous. I have someone in mind. Hopefully she'll get my message.
Is Chat GPT a publicly traded company, or is that a private owned company?
Oh, babe, I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to lie to you on this segment here. On this here episode.
I'm not on the AI train yet. I'm not. I feel like
you're a late adopter.
They've already stolen all of our information.
Early adopters.
And AI is like, I feel like they're stealing even more information now.
Well, I have I won't say friend of mine, but an acquaintance whose company, he created a company that would read people's facial expressions as they would walk in and out of particularly conferences, to gauge the engagement and happiness of their, of the conference. Very interesting.
I'm like, mind your business, bruh.
It would read the facial expressions. So he, I don't know, where was I? I go to places. I get invited. I go to places. I listen. But it was very interesting to see, how they had cameras at all the entrances that would tink, 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 read, the facial expressions and read how they would interact with your conference. And so therefore, hey, is this working? Is this not working? Should we make some adjustments here? All the things. Very interesting. I think he sold it.
I have so many problems with that. So think about when you go to work, right? a lot of times you don't even want to be there in the first place, especially a conference or a meeting, right? So your mind starts to drift. What if the person's facial expression that they read is currently going through a divorce and he ain't even thinking about the conference? He thinking about alimony, or he just broke up with his girlfriend the other day and she texted him 17 times during the thing.
That's when you tap in from the phone. Well, you would be an outlier. But that's
what if I got a real strong poker face?
What they've been Googling.
What if I got a real strong poker face and my face says...
It's not a what if. You haven't been
No, but that's why I have a problem with it. You won't know if I like the conference or not when I walk out. I'm having the same facial expression. This man is
upset at everything.
No. Yeah, so I think I can think of a whole lot of problems.
Well, it's the technology that can.
That's why technology fails, because they put you into a category in a box.
But they're training it to think.
And everybody doesn't. Mind your business. That's what I say.
The Sphere, by the way, which we should do a Willis team on location. The Sphere actually has droids.
You got to go to a YouTube concert right now.
A YouTube concert?
That's the only way you can get in.
Oh, I'll go. YouTube? Okay. Yeah. I gotta find some songs that I know, but yeah, I'll go.
Exactly.
But they have droids that are there, humanoids, what they call them, humanoids that are there that I was just talking to my girl, my nail tech, her friend works there, and the humanoids can think, they can remember, so and they work with the other employees. So it's like, hey, Stacy, how are you today? I like that green top.
They training you to get up out of there.
At one point, she said, and I don't know, the person's name's not Stacy, but she goes, hey, Stacy, you're a little late. Aren't you the supervisor of blah, 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 blah?
Yeah, they have people that sit in the seat.
You're snitching out!
No, they have like spectators that like
I would be so
they
mad.
observed the events. They had a couple at a couple football team games. They had a couple at the
no, but those
MSG
were
Sphere.
Humanoids or people dressed as humanoids. These are real humanoids. Like when they unplug them, or not unplug them, but when they power them down, they kind of all line up on the wall. This is what she's telling me. That's why I gotta go. They all line up on the wall, and they can no longer engage with you, but their eyes follow you. So if you walk past these humanoids, their eyes are following you.
iRobot.
As you walk past
Total
them.
Recall.
All I know is I'm gonna be nice, and I tell Alexa and I tell both of them thank you all the time. So. Do not come from me, humanoids. See, I think we should all be very nice, because I think they can remember.
See, I don't know about this.
Just in case.
I don't know about this. Okay, let's go.
Moving on. Angela Bassett finally receives an Oscar. Woo woo woo!
I'm a little disappointed though. I'm a little disappointed. It's an honorary Oscar. Yeah. Like, oh, we know you tired of losing, so we're going to give you this honorary Oscar instead of the ones that you actually acted for and should have got an award for. We're going to give you this. That's like an honorary doctorate.
Yeah. Okay.
Worse than an honorary doctorate, actually. But I love Angela Bassett, though. I mean,
let the wind out of my sails. Congratulations, Angela. You deserve.
I was excited until I read the whole thing. I was super excited. It wasn't a
specific category. Yeah. It was just, hey, we're tired of, no more Meryl Streeping. We want you to actually have an Oscar. But give this woman her flowers. This woman is 60. I think she's my mom's age, so she's like 67, 68 years old. Give this woman her flowers.
Absolutely.
What's Love Got to Do with It is still one of my favorite movies ever. And she also killed it in Akilah and the Bee. Love that movie too.
And Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever.
Snubbed for that.
Lord have mercy. So I'm glad she got it. Who else was gonna get it?
It's another movie that she got snubbed for. Let me see what's going on here.
So it's
What's Love Got to Do with it in Black Panther were the two that she probably should have.
She should have won on both of those. But I mean, her career is long. It's long, so well deserved. Congratulations, Angela Bassett. Let's see. Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay. Now, I like this story because I want to talk about it from the aspect or in terms of money making and revenue. Okay, so on the business side of the Katt Williams viral video on Club Shay Shay, they actually currently have 49.4 million views and counting. Now, just put that in perspective, before the Katt Williams video, Club Shay Shay was getting around like 1 million views, I believe.
Bigger
Per episode,
million,
like
million,
for
people.
the bigger episodes that he had. But this one definitely took it to a whole nother level. 186,000 comments. Now we're talking money.
Oh yeah.
So in revenue, we're talking how much now?
They have a gauge. It's a website that you can go to gauge YouTube revenue. The lower number is like really low, but actual real life is closer to the high number because it's like
What's the high number
197,000
in revenue?
just one video.
Just one video.
And that doesn't tell the total picture because you have the long form video,
Right.
But he broke it down to each
plenty of short
individual
form.
topic. So each individual topic is getting like 1 million, 2 million, 800,000. So
Yes.
that's additional revenue. So every segment of that long form video, people are going just to hear about when he talked about Steve Harvey, when he talked about this part, when he talked about that part. So
Yeah.
aside from this one that got 49 going on 50 million,
Yeah.
the segmented videos, that's not even counting those.
Man. So, huge takeaway here, ladies and gentlemen, is make that long form content and continuously repurpose it. Repurpose that long form content. Maybe it was a tip that you gave. Take that tip out, pull that tip out, and repurpose it on different platforms. You can do this. You can make money. Now, you don't have to be Club Shay Shay money, but if you're continuously doing this, you can really see some money being made here in another form of income for yourself. So that's why I love that story. I've just been watching it now. It was also very juicy, but that's what I've been loving about it is because I knew this was going to take off and be a huge money maker for Shannon Sharp. So congratulations, Shannon Sharp, and your team for making that interview happen, letting Katt Williams say what he had to say, and leveraging that interview the way you have.
You know,
Awesome.
Another thing that I couldn't find it, I could have did a little more research, but another thing that we didn't talk about was how many new subscribers he has. So not only did he get that many views,
Oh yeah,
you can go back and look and see like before and after.
sure.
How many new subscribers? So that's more
Exponential.
views for every other video that he'll put out in the future too.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of subscribers, make sure y'all subscribe right down here, okay? Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you're notified every time we upload new content. Now, Jerod Mayo becomes the first black head coach in Patriots history and the youngest head coach in the NFL. How old is he?
37.
37. I just realized he's younger than me.
You all right? Sorry. It's okay.
Okay.
This is super dope. First of all, you're seeing a change of, I'll call it a change in command, especially in NFL, because you got Bill Belichick. He's coached the Patriots forever. He's in his 70s.
Okay.
Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seahawks, he's out of there. He's coached the Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah. He's forever. The coach of the college team, Alabama,
Oh, they got rid of him too.
he retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he retired. But he retired because he can't compete with the Deion Sanders and things like that.
Coach Prime.
Because,
Change of the guard.
you know, it's basically like if you want to play for a big school and get a lot of eyes on you and things like that, you had to go to an Alabama or Ohio State or something like that. But now you have the previous coaches, younger coaches that are more relatable to the players.
Yeah.
They can kind of recruit more, and they want to come and be with a relatable coach, because sometimes it can be like a huge difference in age, cultural differences and things like that, or a previous player. Like, who wouldn't want to play? Well, Michael Jordan, that's the only one that was like,
What you mean?
They didn't do too well. Bobcats, the Wizards, that didn't work out too much. And nobody was like tripping and falling to come
play for him,
play for Michael Jordan's own team. But you're seeing younger players. You're seeing more black coaches, which is great, because previously there's been a stigma saying, black players can only play, or black players can only play certain positions. So the quarterback positions, coaches, assistant coaches. There's a lot of assistant coaches getting head coaching jobs. I mean, black coaches. So it's good to see not just black, but just a change of, it's like even the Patriots. Like, I like the Patriots, but it was like, come on, man, I'm tired of seeing the Patriots every year. Like, I want to see somebody else win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Or Alabama. Like,
well, I mean, they had a system that worked. When the system stopped working, you got to make some changes. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were tired of seeing them because they had a system that works.
Yeah.
If anything that I'm trying to do is gonna be that. I'm trying to build a system that works. I'm fine with people tired of seeing me win, honestly, because that means I have a system that works.
Right.
So when the system stops working, then it's time to put it's time to put new blood in there. So so shout out to him. I'm hoping that the Raiders choose Mr. Pierce as their head coach. Fingers
we'll see.
There.
He got an interview, but we'll see.
Yeah. Lastly, the Honey Pot gets purchased by Compass Diversified for $380 million. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Honey Pot, it is a company that specializes in feminine products, and particularly feminine products that are vegan, that are very natural and plant-based, and it is run by Beatrice Dixon. Now, she will remain the CEO of the company, but she just made herself $380 million, which
was more than that, though.
What?
So I read through the article. So she basically did a partnership, and she retains her role as the CEO.
Yeah.
And they just bought a major stake in the company.
Yeah,
she didn't sell the whole company.
Yeah.
And this partnership will help the company's product get into the hands of more consumers. So it helped from a distribution standpoint, similar to how, what's the company? Walker?
Yeah.
Bevel?
Bevel.
He got into Target because he sold a lot of his company, or all of it, to P&G. I think he sold all of his company to P&G.
I can't remember, but yes, P&G was involved.
But that's good, because it's kind of like selling CDs in the back of your trunk to signing with a record label and being in stores. So that's huge. Because
now, I know some people will not be happy about the fact that she has sold a large part of her company, but I just want to remind you guys, moves like this are super duper important, especially in the Black community. I remember remember Shea Moisture, when Shea Moisture was sold to I think it was, I'm not even going to get to lying on here, but Shea Moisture was sold, and a lot of people in our community were up in arms about it, very upset. It's no longer going to be Black owned, all the things. There are many reasons why companies sell, but this particular sale, everybody was up in arms. And then a few months later, the same person that has sold Shea Moisture bought Essence back. So moves like this, y'all just stay tuned and just keep your eyes and ears open, because this is when wealth transfers happen. And so this is what I love. I love the fact that Beatrice Dixon is still the head of the company. She is still the CEO. So that's awesome. Also, pay attention when companies like this get sold because, I remember, again, I don't know why I'm in places, but she was the keynote speaker at a women's event that I attended in Cincinnati. And she spoke about how expensive it was to make her products because she had gotten this particular recipe that she made for her feminine wash was from her grandmother. And it was very, very expensive to make these products. And the next deal that she got into, one, got her to, or decreased the cost for her. And it also got her into Target stores. So these types of moves are important. And you have to remember, you can't be a silo if you want to change the world. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that. But
I remember back in the day, Dell computers, you used to only buy a Dell computer from Dell. You couldn't just go to like Best Buy and things to buy a Dell computer. And even back in the day when they first came out with the iPhone, I remember I was trying to switch cell phone companies so I could get an iPhone because they only had to deal with like AT&T or something at the time. And now you can buy an iPhone from Verizon, probably a grocery store at this point. But, distribution is key because you can dominate a small sector, but if you can get into, people laugh about Shaquille O'Neal or Shaq shoes.
yes,
But if you're in Walmart, you can sell $200 shoes to 10 people, or you can sell $2 shoes to
you can sell $10 shoes to 10 million people and be okay.
Yeah, so distribution is really key and it's vital, and it can mean a lot of scaling and growth to a company. So shout out to the Honey Pot Company. Sounds like out of everything, distribution was a major factor in this.
Yeah, so. Well, all right, y'all. Let's finish up with our real estate minute of the day. This one is talking about the due diligence period. Now, when you go under contract and purchase your home, the first contingency is the due diligence period. Now, this is the time where you get an inspection on your home. Now, I've got 3 rules that I need you to remember during the due diligence period. First, don't skip it. This is part of your contract, and you have a right to waive it. But as your realtor, I am telling you right here and right now, do not skip the inspection period, okay? You have every right to inspect the home that you are purchasing. And it's super easy to get something and it be a lemon. So we definitely want you to make sure that you do not skip your due diligence period. Number 2, make sure you use a reputable inspection company, not your family, not your friends, not even someone who just owns a flashlight. Use a reputable professional inspection company. Inspection companies usually cost between $550 to $700 for a basic inspection. And number 3, realtors cannot choose your inspection company for you. That is a conflict of interest, so do not ask. But definitely get your due diligence, get your inspection done when you purchase your home. And that is your real estate minute, ladies and gents. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of At Home with the Willises. Make sure you subscribe before you go, and make sure you hit that share button and share with all your friends and your family. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us. We will see you next time.